Imagine if I told you something really scary is happening all over again. Between 2006 and 2012, the United States faced a huge housing crisis, causing trouble worldwide. People's homes lost a lot of their value, and many lost their homes. Fast forward to today, and it feels like déjà vu. The housing market is on a wild ride, with prices shooting up like a rocket. Some call it a new housing bubble. It's like a storm approaching, making people excited and nervous. In this video, we'll look at the housing market's history, the bubble era, today's situation, and the consequences of careless lending. We'll explore why this housing market feels like a ticking time bomb once more. It's important to grasp what's happening and share your insights about your local housing market. Because knowledge is power, and together, we can make wiser decisions in this uncertain housing landscape. Housing market history. From 2006 to 2012, something really bad happened with houses in the United States. It's a bit like how things were during the Great Depression a long time ago. People's houses became worth much less, and this made a lot of trouble. It was so bad that it didn't just affect America, it caused problems all over the world. Many people lost their homes, and it was a very tough time for everyone. This housing problem was so serious that it led to something called a global recession. That means the whole world's economy got sick. People lost their jobs and everything became more expensive. It was like a big storm that affected everyone's lives. So from 2006 to 2012, the housing market in the US went through a really tough time, and it had a big impact on people everywhere. The bubble era. Before the housing problems in the United States from 2006 to 2012, there was a time called the bubble era. This happened around the year 2002. During this period, something unusual was happening with houses. The prices of homes in the US started to go up slowly. People thought they would keep going up forever. But then, something surprising happened. The prices of homes didn't just go up slowly, they shot up very quickly, like a rocket taking off. It was a bit like the famous gold rush from a long time ago when everyone wanted to find gold. People started to see houses as a way to make a lot of money, and they were buying and selling houses like crazy. It was an exciting time for real estate, but it didn't last forever. Current housing market. The housing market today is in a bit of a tricky situation. Some people are saying it's like a new bubble. This means that the prices of houses are going up very fast, just like in the past when there was a big problem with the housing market. People are worried because they think this might not be a good thing. Since the year 2012, the prices of homes have been going up, but not too quickly. But in 2020, something surprising happened. The prices of houses suddenly shot up a lot, like a firework in the sky. This made many people worried because when prices go up too fast, it can be a sign that something is not right in the housing market. One of the big problems in today's housing market is that there is a lot of guessing and investing going on. Some people are buying houses just because they think they can sell them for more money later. Others are trying to make quick money by buying and selling houses very quickly. This is not always a good thing because it can make the housing market unstable. People are thinking a lot about making money, and sometimes they forget that houses are places for people to live in, not just things to make money from. So, the current housing market is a bit uncertain, and many are keeping a close eye on it. Warnings about the last crash. Before the big housing problem in 2006, a lot of people, even a famous guy named Warren Buffett, were saying that something was wrong with the housing market. They thought there was a bubble, like when you blow up a balloon too much and it might pop. It wasn't just one person who thought this. Many different people, both regular folks and smart investors, had the same feeling. The people who were worried about the housing market said that the real trouble came from some real estate investors who were being very greedy. These investors were taking big risks, like borrowing a lot of money, and they were hoping to make a ton of cash quickly. They weren't thinking about the long-term health of the housing market. They just wanted to get rich fast. And sadly, their risky and greedy behavior played a big part in causing the housing market to crash in 2006. So, it's important to listen when people like Warren Buffett warn about these things because they can see what's really happening. Investor activities. In the last few years, something important has been happening in the housing market. More and more investors are getting involved. These are people who buy houses not to live in them, but to make money from them. Some of these investors are doing things that are not very safe or honest. Some of these investors are taking big risks with their money. They are borrowing a lot of money to buy houses, and this can be dangerous because if something goes wrong, they might lose a lot. Some investors are even using tricky and dishonest ways to get money for buying houses. This is not good because it can cause problems for everyone in the housing market. So, the housing market is changing, and a lot of it has to do with these investors. Some of them are not being very careful or honest, and this can make the housing market a risky place. It's important for everyone to be aware of what's happening, so they can make safe and smart choices when it comes to buying and selling houses. Market behavior. Real estate markets work a bit differently compared to stock markets. In real estate, the prices of homes are not decided by a lot of buying and selling like in the stock market. Instead, the value of homes is determined by just a few transactions. This means that when not many houses are being bought or sold in a neighborhood, it can still affect how much homes are worth. Even small changes in the number of houses being sold can make a big difference in how much homes are worth in a neighborhood. This is because the prices of homes are often based on what similar houses sold for in the past. So, if a few houses sell for lower prices, it can bring down the value of all the other houses nearby. This is why problems in the real estate market can sometimes happen suddenly. If there are not many buyers, or if a few houses are sold for much less than before, it can cause a big drop in home values. This can be a bit scary for people who own homes because they might suddenly find their homes are worth much less than they thought. So, real estate markets can be a bit tricky, and changes can happen fast. Consequences of dumb lending. Dumb lending is when loans are given without careful checking and thinking. This is not a good thing, and it can lead to big problems. When lenders don't really look into whether the person can pay back the loan or if the house is worth the money, it's like planting a time bomb. The consequences of dumb lending can be really serious, especially in the housing market. When too many people get loans without being able to pay them back, it can cause a financial crisis. This is like a big financial storm that can hurt a lot of people. It's a bit like a domino effect where one problem leads to another, and it can affect everyone. Also, because lenders are giving out loans easily. Developers who build houses might keep building even when there's not a real need for more houses. This can lead to too many houses in some places and not enough buyers. It's like making too much food, and then some of it goes to waste. So, dumb lending can cause a lot of trouble in the housing market, and it's important for lenders to be careful and not make these mistakes. Conclusion. Right now, the housing market is a bit like a bubble, and it reminds people of what happened in the early 2000s. A bubble is when things like house prices go up super fast, and it can make people excited and worried at the same time. It's like blowing up a balloon too much, and you're not sure if it will pop or not. This time, just like before, things are happening really quickly. One big reason for this housing bubble is that some loans being given out are not very good. These are called bad loans. When people get these bad loans, they can use them to buy houses they might not be able to afford in the long run. This can be risky because it can lead to more and more people buying houses they can't really pay for, which can make prices go even higher. It's like a cycle that can be dangerous. The problem with these housing bubbles is that they can burst suddenly. It's like a bubble popping. When it happens, it can be very frustrating for people who bought houses at high prices, because suddenly their homes might not be worth as much. The script also asks viewers to share what they see happening in their local housing markets. It's important for people to talk about these things because it can help everyone understand what's going on and make smarter decisions when it comes to buying or selling houses.